Berwickshire Marine Reserve.
Happy birthday from
Collingham Lifeguards.
Woo!
From Scottish Borders Council. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy birthday.
Happy 36th birthday, Berwickshire Marine Reserve from all at St Vida's Surf Shop. Have a good one.
Yay.
Happy birthday to the DMR for listening to Red Rides and Abs.
Hi, happy birthday to the Marine Reserve from the beautiful Cliff Tops. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Berwickshire Marine Reserve.
Dear BMR, we wish you a very happy birthday.
From all of us here at the St Anne's Marine Station. Yay!
Happy birthday, BMR.
Hi, and welcome everybody to this live broadcast about the Berwickshire Marine Reserve and the coast and waters around Eyemouth. If you're watching this, then welcome. It's great to have you all here. Feel free to share the stream that you're looking at, see if any of your friends want to join you and have a listen. Today we're going to be hearing from people involved in and running the Berwickshire Marine Reserve. So we have Alice Fisher and Catherine Dunsford that we've been working with from the University of St Andrews on a really exciting virtual dive project. And we have James Hartley from the Board of Trustees, and he's a keen diver and I think photographer. So welcome everybody here, and just a hand over to Alice and Catherine, who are going to take us through the paces.
Thank you, Alan. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. We again just want to say happy birthday to Berwickshire Marine Reserve. For those of you that don't know, the Berwickshire Marine Reserve is the first voluntary marine reserve in Scotland, established in 1984. So yeah, we've been around for some time now.
Yeah, so it's a grassroots initiative. It was the local community who came together after witnessing user pressures on the waters of Berwickshire, and there was a bit of conflict, so they came together to establish the voluntary marine reserve. And in 1991 we gained charitable status, so we are a charity. We were the St Abs and Eyemouth Voluntary Marine Reserve. We've recently rebranded as the Berwickshire Marine Reserve. And as a charity, we have our three main aims.
So these three main aims, our first one is to conserve the biodiversity of the coastal waters. Our second is to raise awareness of the marine environment through education. And the third is to promote responsible recreation use alongside sustainable fishery to the mutual benefit of all.
So the Berwickshire Marine Reserve, the coastal waters here are a world-renowned dive site. People come here from all over the world to experience all that we have to offer. The mixing of warm water currents driven by the Gulf Stream and cold water currents from the Arctic create a real unique habitat and diverse array of marine life. We have Arctic wolffish, who reside here, which you can see these guys in the background. You don't normally find them in inshore waters. They're normally much further out at sea in the colder waters. But living alongside that, you also have things like the Devonshire cup coral, which are a true coral. They're a hard coral, tiny little delicate anemone kind of creature, and they're not usually found in waters of this temperature. So you have warm water species living alongside cold water species, and it's really a really special place.
And so one of the things that we try to do is, obviously this is a really unique environment that we're very aware of and conscious of, but we want you to know more about it. So we try to get out there, raise the awareness within our community. We normally hold events throughout the summer. We have volunteer rangers who do a fantastic job of engaging with people and getting people excited through Rockpool Rambles. We have lots of events and talks, and we like to just share all the information that we can within schools, community groups, and just really invite you to come down here and experience it for yourself.
So the third aim of the charity, it was created by the community as a voluntary marine reserve. We have voluntary codes of conduct that we ask all users to adhere by. But we are in the process now of sort of reviewing these codes of conduct. We're going to update them all, have a different kind of code for each kind of user group, focusing on divers, fishermen, snorkelers, all the types of activities that go on. We're busy working on this at the minute. They will be going out for public consultation in the next couple of weeks, so keep an eye if you're keen to get involved with that.
Yeah, and this is part of a piece of work that we're doing with Alan and Ian from St Andrews University. You know, in 2018, the Berwickshire Marine Reserve were delighted to be awarded some European leader funding. And so I don't know if Richard Bates is able to tell us a little bit more about it, but part of that was a huge seabed mapping process that we went through. Are you there, Richard?
Yeah, I am actually here, listening.
Hi, nice that you're joining us today.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we did the mapping exercise as part of a habitat survey. So it was quite extensive, from the coastline actually into tidal all the way out to probably about 40 meters offshore. 40 meters depth offshore. So in a large band all the way up the coast from south of Eyemouth all the way through St Abbs and around north to the Fastcastle area. And it involved geophysics, so mapping the seabed with geophysics, remote sensing, and also a lot of ground truth work with video cameras and still cameras and sampling sediment over the whole area.
Fantastic.
That's great, and that's one of the things that we were able to make use of in making a website and kind of like virtual museum archive with the Marine Reserve. So Richard, there's a map there online at the moment. You can go onto it and click on the places where you drop things into the water and see the videos that you've taken. Some of them are 360 videos, so there's a lot of sort of underwater footage documenting that process that you went through.
That's right. The other important thing about doing all this, of course, is that for any marine reserve, of course, to be able to manage it, whether it's on a voluntary basis or otherwise, you need to have what we call baseline data. And so the baseline data here is a record of the state of the reserve at a particular point in time, so that if things change, you can see how they might change in the future by repeat monitoring. And of course, by having a baseline data set, if any drastic feature or action happened, I mean, you know, would hate to think of something like an oil spill, but you've got a record that you can sort of see what is it like to get back to conditions by having data sets like this. So they're really important from a scientific point of view in managing a place in the future.
Does that have relevance with global warming then?
Well, I mean, it's actually, you know, as species change and as we get migration north at the moment, I mean, I think what's happening on the East Coast is we're seeing species migration north. And as that happens, you know, you should be able to track that by looking at the habitat and potential habitat change. So you would look in detail at particular areas, and then you'd look grossly across the whole area to see, you know, what percentage of different habitats you had at any one point in time. So it's got relevance for looking at if you want to call it natural changes, but also human-induced changes. And so, you know, climate change is at the forefront of everybody's mind here. I mean, one of the interesting things through COVID and this lockdown over the last few months, actually, you know, and you might be able to give us some indication of this, but what was happened in the Marine Reserve pre or during lockdown, you know, are you seeing from the fishermen any recovery in sizes of catches and things like that? So it's just a small example of how you can use scientific data to help manage and ensure the sustainability of a reserve once it's been established. So back to you, I guess.
Well, thanks a lot for that, Richard. That's great. And Alison and Catherine, are you going to move us on?
Yeah, I think we can talk a little bit now about the species that you might find within the Marine Reserve. I'm not sure if Ian, you wanted to play a little clip now.
Yeah, that would be great. So, Ian, we've got a clip on species. So it's good. I mean, I must admit that working with the Marine Reserve, one of the most exciting things has been seeing all of the underwater photographs of different species that live in the Marine Reserve, and it's really been mind-blowing the number of different species and how colourful and varied they are. And we've managed to build up a great archive, which is, again, that's available online.
Yeah.
From that information. But here I think we've got the clip going. But I don't think there's audio to it. So I think maybe there's some sort of, oh, wow.
This was taken on one of the local rib trips in Eyemouth, Tim's Rib Trips, and just shows some of the dolphins that people have the experience of seeing if they're lucky enough.
So you get some really nice marine mammals in the reserves. So you have the bottlenose dolphins, which are shown on that video there. But
so these are inquisitive dolphins, aren't they? Because they wanted to get on the TV because this was what was shot yesterday. So they put in a special appearance for this stream.
Yeah, bottlenose dolphins are a real treat if you encounter them while you're at sea. If they're feeling up to it, they'll come and give you a good show, jumping out of the water, doing some nice displays for you. But we also get minke whales here in the reserves. That's an impressive sight. You're very, very lucky if you catch one of those, but that you do see them occasionally.
I suppose we're going to talk about it later, but one of the things we've been doing is making a virtual dive experience. And one of the things about that is that we can guarantee that you not only get to see dolphins in the distance, but you get to get in the water and swim with them for every single virtual visit. And I think we've got minke males as well.
James, I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit about your experience of diving within the Marine Reserve and what species you might see or what you're particularly excited to see when you come here.
Yeah, going back to the changes and maybe brought on by global warming or species migrating north. I've been diving 12, 13 years here. I've seen quite a change in the last 5 to 6. Before 6 years ago, I never really saw a dolphin here. And every year they've just seemed to have increased. Last couple of years, there's been quite a few new species getting spotted. Red mullet fish. I've personally seen 2 sunfish in the last 2 years, which is quite amazing. That could be down to the waters warming up. On the flip side, I've probably seen a few less wolffish. So there's changes both ways, really. Mammals seem to be doing well. Again, we seem to be having more Atlantic seals and dolphins, a few more porpoises. Could that have an effect on how many fish we have here with them hunting it? Only time will tell.
Yeah.
It's obviously a treat to see the dolphins, and I'll back that up about them being inquisitive, because I'm on quite a large boat, a catamaran most of the time, wave dancer, and when they come to us, you'll get on the bow and they're just zipping across the front of the bow playing. Then they'll get in the wake of the boat, just like any wakeboarder, and use the wake to have fun in. So they're a great animal to interact with.
Amazing.
That's great.
So you don't just get the underwater species here. The reserve also supports a huge seabird colony at St Abbs Head National Nature Reserve, managed by the National Trust for Scotland. We have a video showing someone talking about the birds that are nesting there this year and the numbers that we. So we get different species. So we have guillemots, razorbills, kittiwakes. Kittiwakes are the ones that make the noise, the real create the atmosphere of
What's the noise again, Catherine?
Couldn't possibly. I'll leave that to the video to get the good sound effects.
I've heard you do a great impersonation.
So have I.
So it's really quite something, isn't it? The St Abbs Bird Reserve. There's, I mean, the scenery there is stunning. It has to be seen to be believed. I think the sort of cliffs and the views out to the sea. But I guess it's a place that changes quite a lot depending upon the time of year. And when do are the birds there all year round or?
So the birds they'll come in early summer, springtime, at April, May. They'll nest throughout the May, June, July, and most of them have gone now back out to sea. A lot of the birds only come in to land when they need to nest and reproduce. So they spend the vast majority of their lives out at sea. Fascinating creatures. And this year at St Abbs, actually, the gannets have nested for the first time in a few years. And they've successfully hatched chicks. They're still going now. So hopefully they'll fledge successfully in the next couple of weeks or so.
Is this the video that you're showing now, Ian? I think.
Yes, I believe this is the video of the birds.
We can't hear the birds screeching. It's more of a visual thing. It is amazing those cliffs, aren't they? There we go. Okay, that's a nice clip. It gives you kind of good idea and the view out to sea as well. And if you wanted to find out more about this, I guess you could go to the St Abbs Visitor Centre. There's a visitor centre in St Abbs, and I don't know. Maybe Alice, you could tell us a bit more about what the visitor centre there has to offer and the village.
So, in St Abbs, there is an amazing visitor centre that is kind of perched on the cliffs there, looking out to sea. And we are very fortunate to be working with them, and we're hoping that we will have our exhibition that we're currently developing in their next season. And they have a full display there of the wildlife that you find in the local area. They have, normally have quite a lot of hands-on interactive exhibitions there. And it's a great viewing spot right out to sea. With huge big windows, and so it's a perfect location within this marine reserve for people to go along and just find out more.
It sounds great, actually, and I guess it was shut during lockdown, but now is open for visitors?
I think it is open again now. I think the amount that's on display is being reduced. Obviously, we aren't there, unfortunately, but as soon as we can get there, we will be there. So keep your eyes out, and we'll update you as soon as we know more.
Okay, that's lovely. So, okay, so. What's next on the schedule, Ian? Sorry.
We could maybe talk a little bit about the snorkel sites, if you'd like.
Well, that would be great, because I mean, I know lots of people are really. I mean, I think that the concept of diving, and I've done a little bit of diving myself, not much, and there's nothing that really beats kind of the suspension that you have with all the wildlife going on around yourselves. But the snorkeling, it's just so accessible, isn't it? It's just so easy to do, and I think it's great the way the Marine Reserve provides people with the sort of information that they need for a safe and fulfilling snorkel experience.
Yes, snorkeling it's a great way to experience the underwater life of the Marine Reserve. You don't have to be a diver. You don't have to go too deep or too far offshore to still see the amazing creatures that we have here. We worked with the National Trust for the Scottish Wildlife Trust a few years ago to create 5 snorkel trails within the reserve, and we've produced a handy leaflet that you can download from our new website. But this leaflet tells you all about the 5 snorkel sites. So you've got Starny Bay up in St Abbs, Caldingham Bay, Milldown Bay, Weasel Loch and Eyemouth Beach. And it tells you all about how to get there, where the best places are to go, what you're likely to see. And it also comes with a handy guide of little species that you might see. So if you see any of those, please do let us know. Tag us in all your photographs. We love to see everything that you've seen.
And one really exciting thing is that we are just in the process of launching our new app, which I'm sure that Ian and Alan will tell you more about shortly. And that has got all of the snorkel sites on there and dive sites in the local area. So that's a really easy way for you to find out where you can go, how you get there, and what you might expect to see.
That's great. And there's just so much life as well. I mean, that's the thing that struck me about, but I mean, I haven't even done the snorkel, but I have done the, walking along the beach and the rock pools and stuff. And I think you do a thing called Sea Safaris, which I think is just such a fantastic name. And or is it Beach Safaris? Have I got the name wrong?
Seashore Safari.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great educational tool, Seashore Safaris. People are always amazed at the vast array of life that you find even in a rock pool.
What I love is they do this presentation to groups, and the question is it Berwickshire or is it Bermuda? And sometimes we're quite surprised at what you actually find here in our own coastal waters.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, the beaches around Berwickshire are astounding. I mean, around the reserve and more broadly, and there's this sort of acres of, golden sands. I think you can tell the difference though, because I mean the Bermuda beaches have usually got millions of people on, whereas the beaches in Berwickshire usually you have enough room to breathe on them.
But it's not necessarily the beaches we're talking about, it's about what's found underneath.
Okay.
Underneath the sea, the species that you find there that are so vibrant, you wouldn't expect them to be just off the coastal waters of Caldingham.
Yeah, I mean, James will be able to confirm this, but the walls of Dead Man's Fingers underneath the waves, it does look like.
Yeah, the especially in the early months as well, when it's quite cold. The soft corals, when you get the vis as well, clear visibility in the water, it's as good as any warm water coral dive. It really is. I think the one good thing about this, the snorkeling as well, it can get youngsters involved and interested a lot easier than scuba diving, and can be a nice gateway into that for them. Be nice to see the schools get involved maybe with the snorkeling.
Yeah.
Okay, dead men fingers are it sounds a bit gruesome. Have we got an image of a dead man's finger?
They do sound a bit gruesome, but they are they're a type of soft coral related to sea anemones and jellyfish. They have tentacles that they use to capture their prey, and when they grow, they branch out into little branches that do make them look like fingers. So that's where they get their name from.
I think the story behind the name is ancient mariners. A lot of them didn't swim, but the odd view any of them got of a dead man's finger, the superstition told them that it was probably what had happened to their workmates who'd been shipwrecked.
Oh, really? I think we've got an image here of some what do you call cold water soft coral with some dead men fingers in it.
They are the dead men's fingers.
I'm not sure that it's gone onto the stream yet, though. Oh, it is. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Yeah, and so Ian just retrieved that from the archive that we've developed, from where I said, "Oh, let's have a look at dead man's fingers," and he went through the archive and found it. And if you back out a bit, you can see some of the array of different things that are in there, I think. Yeah. So and all those sea anemones are present in the marine reserve.
Yeah, all the on there are things that you'll find.
Oh, I'm not sure about the jellyfish. Maybe we shouldn't tell people about the jellyfish. Do you get sharks as well? Sorry?
Jellyfish are amazing. They're beautiful underwater. And I get stung by them regularly when I'm wreck diving, but it's just a little tingle. Nothing to worry about.
Okay. So, I'm sure they are. It's just kind of.
Take your word for it, James.
I'll take your word for that one. Yeah. I won't go out and get myself stung from a jellyfish just on the account of that. So that's great. And I don't know. Do we want to have I guess there's one species that is kind of iconically associated with the marine reserve, isn't there? Which is sat behind you, the wolffish. Do we have any images of the wolffish? Beyond, so, oh, there we go. There's the wolffish. Aha. There we go. Good. And we can zoom that in, can we? There we go. That's great. And so why is it called a wolffish?
My, what big teeth you've got?
They look like vicious teeth, don't they? And why is this fish so associated with the marine reserve?
I think because of the influence from the Arctic currents, you don't normally find wolffish in inshore waters. They're usually much further out to sea in the colder waters, so that it is a real treat to find them so close inshore.
Yeah, and one of the fun things about this project was figuring out how to make a digital model of a wolffish. So we have this virtual dive experience, which we've mentioned before, but in that there is one or more dollfish. So they tend to hide, don't they? They're not the most bravest or outgoing of fish, though.
No, yeah, you will be very lucky to find them coming out from their little cracks and crevices that they live in. I think their location is kind of given away by the crushed up crab shells and outside of their lair. That's kind of how you know that they're there.
Do they eat crabs then?
Yeah, small crabs.
I once came across one swallowing. I don't know if it had the whole lobster, but all it had was a big lobster claw sticking out of its mouth, and it was trying to swallow that whole.
That would have been a good photo.
Yeah.
I tried, but there was so much silt that it were kicking up, trying to get the lobster claw down. It's.
So I quite like lobster too. So there, I've got something in common with all fish. I think I probably prefer crab. Do you do much underwater photography, James?
I mainly do videography. The shots behind me are from my dive buddy. He's a photographer. He has more patience than me, so I like to just enjoy the dive and film it as I do. But,
so who is that, sorry?
Paul Webster.
Paul Webster, right, great. They look like some great shots you've got behind you there.
Yeah, this one here is a U-12. That's a submarine offshore of St. Abbs. That's a U-boat. There's 3 U-boats in the surrounding area.
And so have you been in them then?
No, not in them. They're war graves, so
okay.
Respectful to them. But going back to the photography in the Marine Reserve, it's great. It's great because lots of people are into it now, and to me, it's the better way to hunt. It's replaced hunting in a lot of ways as a hobby for divers. You know, they like to go around what they find, and there'll be a lot of friendly competition between photographers. You know, look what I've found, and instead of bringing a species up, they'll be showing everyone on the boat the photographs of what they've found. And that's how I feel when I'm with Paul. We're just looking for amazing species just to take photographs, and that's it.
It's quite challenging though, isn't it? Because, I mean, I suppose you have to try and make sure that your camera's not going to get wet, which is a challenge in itself. And 2, there's a difference about the way in which lenses work underwater, isn't there? And 3, do you not get issues with light? I mean, I'm guessing your divers like to go down deeper and deeper, but the deeper you go, the less light you have.
Well, lighting systems are very, very sophisticated these days. Sometimes we have photography weeks on the boat, and the photographers who come along to that, the system will cost from 5 to 20 grand. And lighting's come on a lot in the last few years. So the big most of them use macro lenses, so they'll be trying to find a small life, nudibranchs. We've got, I don't know, 10 to 15 different species in nudibranchs that I thought, which can be from a couple of millimeters to 100 millimeters long. So,
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I know what's a nudibranch.
Yeah, it's basically a sea slug, but fairly colourful. And some divers have dived here for years, have never seen any.
Really?
The people who look out for them see them on every dive.
Right. So you kind of get to know where to look.
Yeah, and they have a beautiful egg. It's like a ribbon, like a silk ribbon, which looks like a rose because it spirals out. And if you see a lot of them in the kelp or on a boulder, there'll generally be hundreds of tiny baby nudibranchs around. It's sometimes floating past you in the water as well.
Wow.
Seen in the reserve a Tritonion bergi, and they're a lot easier to spot. They're probably 100 to 200 mil long, so size of a hand or even bigger.
Okay. And Alice and Catherine, you're sitting by rather a special camera, I believe.
We are, yes. This is our latest underwater 360 camera, the Boxfish.
It looks quite a beast.
It is a beast. It weighs quite a lot. It's quite difficult to carry. It's definitely a two-person job.
But it weighs less underwater, presumably.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Once you've got it in the water, you're sorted.
It takes fantastic images and videos. Like the quality of the images that it captures are fantastic, and we've used this and other 360 cameras as part of the LEADER project to create a immersive experience for those who don't dive, who can't dive, who would like to, and that's what this project has all been about, is bringing the marine environment closer to people, making it more accessible.
And we're also inviting people out there who might never have used a piece of equipment like that to get in touch and have a go with this, because we want it to be used and for people to enjoy it as much as we have.
Yeah, that sounds great. And we've talked about species and what are the special dive sites? What sort of, so have you got like a list of sites that you want people to take this camera to or something?
Again, if we refer back to the app that we're just about to launch, we have the full list of dive sites. Oh, there we go. Ian's put it up on screen now, so you can see that on there's all of the dive sites that that we'd like to recommend. James will tell you more about each one, I'm sure, but yeah, we'd love to have footage from every one so that we can allow other people to experience what you experience when you're down there. So if people are keen, do get in touch and we can provide you with the equipment to film it for us.
So there's about 20 sites there or something like that, I think. So I mean, you know, being an amateur and so on, which is the most dangerous?
What do you think, James?
It depends on weather. It depends on the direction of the weather, but I won't say any of them are dangerous. There's Thai Tunnel. There's a bit of a short cave system in that, but not dangerous if suitably qualified to dive it.
So that's the key then, is to follow the codes of practice and to do dives that you are qualified to do. Is that right? So there's like sort of gradation of qualification.
The amazing thing about the reserve is, I'd say 90% of the best dive sites are in entry-level qualification.
Really?
And if you dive in the right conditions, you know, your qualifications teach you that you shouldn't try to dive in conditions that you're not experienced in first. No problem. It's the most accessible place to dive in the country, really, especially with the fleet of boats that service it now. The dive boats at St. Abbs are as good as, well, better than even the South Coast. It's an amazing fleet of companies and boats that offer amazing wealth of knowledge in the skippers.
Well, that's great. And I suppose, well, here's another question then. You know, if you could only do one dive site in the St. Abbs area, which would it be?
Ooh, probably the one I go out to dive most is the Glanmire, and that's the 10% that I said is out of the entry level. That's 30 meters deep.
Okay, so that's quite a long way. I've been down 10 meters. 30 meters sounds like it's starting to get a bit dark down there, is it?
Yeah, sort of. It's advanced diving after 18 meters in most of the agencies. But most divers generally progress to advanced fairly quick. But I got into wreck diving because again, it just becomes a natural reef, and you'll sometimes even get more life on a wreck. I've seen a wolffish swimming around on the Glanmire. I've seen one swimming around on the reefs because they're sort of in their arms there. But yeah, there's big shoals of pollock. A lot more fish around the wrecks sometimes. Well, most of the times. But you generally see a lot of the same species on the wrecks as the reefs, but maybe more of them congregate around it because it's like an oasis on the more barren seabed where the wrecks are, because they're generally deeper.
Well,
my favourite site on the actual marine reef and cliffs is Tice Tunnel. That's the one with a little cave system in it. There's a few ways to do that though. You can do it without going into the cave system. There's a big swim through on the seabed, like big open cave. But you can also enter that from the surface down what we call a chimney.
Yep.
Is what it basically describes. It's a natural chimney that leads down into a little cave system. And then you can exit out of the seabed, out on the seabed. So that's quite an exciting dive.
So how long does it take? How long does it take you to swim through the cave, the tunnel, and the complex?
Oh, if you did it quick, 5 minutes.
Right.
But I generally hang around in the middle bit to have a look in all the nooks and crannies. There's crabs and lobsters in there as well. That's quite spacious, that bit though. So, yeah. I'd say the gullies are quite prolific for the coral around near West Herker. West Herker swim through, which is it's about 4 meters wide, like a big corridor, and sides are just covered in corals and crabs, butterfish, scorpion fish, and then you'll have the Ballanrass swimming down the corridor to greet you and follow you.
That's great. And so I don't know. I think we have some underwater. We have some 3 underwater footage. Do we? I think it might be good to have a look at that. So I haven't dived around so that all the footage that we see is quite green. Is that big? Does it feel like that when you're down there?
To be honest, that UK diving is green, but generally at St Ives, I mean, typically this year, go back a week, there's quite a big swell outside now. That's why I'm not working at the moment. But go back a week, we had a perfect crystal clear waters for 5 or 6 weeks.
Wow.
If I'm really honest, we usually get that 2 or 3 weeks a year, but the rest of the time it's generally pretty clear.
Okay, so this is some footage. I think it's a bit random actually. I think it's just somebody went down and shot some stuff. We've got quite a lot, and we're still kind of sorting through it. But you can get an idea. So I think this is by Black Cars. Is it Ian? Is that right? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
And so that's this is, I think, was quite early in the season. So maybe the quality, but I think you can see some soft coral here coming up. No?
This is like January time or early on in the year, yeah.
It's quite early on in the year, so I don't think it's not the crystal clear stuff that you were talking about. We've got some a bit like that, but that's still you know, being processed. But so the idea is there's going to be on the map, there's information about all of the dive sites, and that's going to include footage taken for those. Oh, that's quite nice there. That you see the clarity of the water there is not bad at all, I would have said. And this is without lighting, I think.
Yeah. Deadman swingers there. They're not as bad as the sound. They're really fluffy and quite bright when you're down there. Ballon wrasse swimming through, like I said before.
Oh, that's a fish swimming there, yeah. That was a wrasse, was it? Did you say?
Yeah.
So this is quite a nice swim through what looks like a sort of tunnel type. So you're kind of surrounded on.
That's about.
Oh wow, there's another fish. Yeah, this is a lovely bit of sort of. I mean, it's not Hollywood, but it's a nice dive. I think you get a feel for how exciting it would be to be doing this for real. And peaceful a lot of the time, I guess.
Oh, it's the ultimate escape. Yeah. No mobile phones or social media down there.
It doesn't work, does it? No Wi-Fi either. And so yeah, we've got headsets. So we're taking 360, but you can either use a headset like Oculus Go or Oculus Quest and put a 360 video on that, and then you're really like in the middle of it. You know, you're doing real immersive experience. So you can look around, look to the left, look to the right, look up, look down, and also get a recording of the sounds that were happening, you know, at the time. So that's really quite impressive, I think, to do that. And also you can do it with a mobile phone and something called Google Cardboard, which doesn't cost much at all, just like £5 or £10. You slip your mobile phone in there and you're away with a full immersive experience for 360. And some of this is featured on the map, and some of it is on YouTube. I think there's the Berwickshire Marine Reserve. You've actually got quite a lot of social media, haven't you? You've got Facebook and YouTube and is it Instagram that you're?
Yeah. On Twitter, yeah.
Wow, that's a great shot, isn't it?
They've got to a bit more depth now, so the visibility is clearing up. I think the start of it was, I think this was probably a shore dive, and when you go in the shallows, it can be quite murky because of the surf. So yeah, we're getting into it now, and it's clearing up.
It's interesting that you say that. It is a lot clearer, isn't it? You're getting to see quite a lot of the details. And this isn't something that you get to see that often, you know. I mean, sometimes there's a nature program that you can watch, but this is, in a sense, it's kind of like more authentic because it's a bit less edited, you know. It's like, okay, this is the sort of things that you would see if you were on a dive outside of off the coast of Eyemouth. Great. It makes you want to get a wetsuit and pop on out there. But you saying it's been a bit rough recently?
Well, just for this week, really. Just for this week.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 or 6 weeks beforehand were the best I can remember.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. Do you think that's something to do with lockdown? The fact that there hadn't been much. I'm presuming that during lockdown there wasn't a lot of diving going on. I might be wrong.
No, there wasn't. It was very restricted. I have started to wonder if it can't just be a coincidence, but whether it's just down to less. There's no way divers are going to affect the visibility long term.
Mm-hmm.
Down to swell, I mean, we haven't had much swell for the last 2 or 3 months. So maybe it's just typical in a year of lockdown. Oh yeah, what was that?
There's a crab making its escape, I think.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, there you go. Dashed across. Okay, that's great. And this was shot with the Insta360, which is like a small camera that costs like £400. So pretty much, I guess, pretty much any diver could use something like that. Right. So
Yeah.
so I've watched this feature on the Marine Reserve, and I really want to get into diving. How would I go about doing that?
Local club's your best way. Unfortunately, there's no dive clubs in Eyemouth or yet. But you're best going with a local club because they're more accessible for the training.
Right.
You know,
And you'd probably do some training in a pool first, would you?
Yeah. You have about 4 to 5 pool sessions, depending on the agency, and then 3 to 5 open water sessions probably in a quarry. Currently trying to introduce more training into the shallow sites around here, getting instructors to start bringing people up more to do the finishing dives of qualifications on the reefs in good areas. It's quite a shame that there isn't that many local divers at the moment, and that really sort of surprises me and is a big shame. So it'd be nice if we can we're going to hopefully try and get the schools more involved. As I say, scuba snorkeling would be an ideal way to do that with the youngsters.
I think that's one of the things that we've been looking at for this project, isn't it? Creating resources that could use in schools, and kind of doing outreach work. I think the Marine Reserve does quite a lot of outreach work.
Yeah, it does. There's a lot, obviously, during the summer when we've got our marine rangers, volunteer rangers. We have a whole program of events that happen throughout that summer period. So it's probably about 4 or 5 months now that we've got somebody here full-time in post. And just really getting together with tourists and with local communities and schools. Like I say, they're invited to deliver talks and presentations to various groups. It's really just inspiring people to come down and have a look. And you know, maybe this is the great thing about this project, is that, you know, not all of us are going to have the ability to join a dive club and to get in the water ourselves physically. And so this can really give people a taste of what's there, so that nobody's excluded from this environment.
Okay, that's great. I'm just looking at the time there, and it's flown by. But I think that we're wanting to have a go at the virtual dive experience as well.
Yes.
So I don't know if Ian, can we have a look? At that. Okay, so this is something that was developed in Unreal Engine, which is a game engine, and again, you can use with a headset, and this enables you to go diving underwater. We're at the moment we're I think near some jellyfish. which seems to be a bit sort of dangerous. And there's also a model of the kelp forest, I think. Yeah. So you can kind of zoom around. So this is there's a lot of kelp off the coast, I believe. And I saw somewhere that there was kelp off Orkney that was 16,000 years old or something. Plausibly large. And in the kelp forest, I don't know, is there a wolfish here? Can we find a wolfish?
Don't know, they can be tricky to find.
What is this? Yeah, okay. I'm hoping that we can. Is that a bit of an unfair task to set you in?
You're under pressure.
Oh.
Oh. What's that?
Yeah, that looks like one.
Is it? Or is that a lobster?
A lobster.
It's a fish anyway.
It's got the wolfish stripes. Might be a baby one.
That's good. And can we swim with dolphins, or is that asking too much? Okay. It's a sad one. It's not jumping with joy at the moment. Yeah. It's a baby wolfish. But there is mummy and daddy wolfish are knocking around in here somewhere. Oh yeah. That's great. And this is an environment we're continuing to develop, so I hope to have students working on it this year. We've got some dead men's fingers to put into the 3D environment. What else is there we can show here, Ian? Is it the seagulls, or did we get a minke whale?
Did a minke whale just pass?
I think a minke whale just passed.
Oh, we got a minke. Oh, sorry, I missed the minke whale. There you go.
There it is.
They swim quite fast, so it's good. I mean, with the headset and the full experience, it's gets you a bit more. But if we go, that's good. Have we got anything else in the underwater bit, Ian? Or? Oh, they are dolphins, aren't they? And there's some seals in it as well, and you can spot crabs and lobsters and lots of different things if you just have a bit of time to wander around. It's kind of realistic in that sense, but also yeah, do seals actually sleep like that? They're kind of like sticking their heads out of the water and just having a look around.
Yes, I were observing two in the harbour asleep like that a couple of weeks ago.
Really? So they come as far. Actually, I've seen seals in the harbour. Yeah, so they do come in that close. I suppose they're looking for the fish. But they're quite curious creatures as well, aren't they? Like if you whistle at them, they'll, I think it registers with them, does it? Do you think?
Yes, sometimes you get them interacting with you underwater, and they've just got the same characteristics of a friendly dog. They'll approach you, sometimes you'll be swimming along and you'll feel a tug on your fin or
Oh, really?
your flipper, and you might think it's another diver having a laugh, and you'll turn around and there's a seal tugging your fin, and it's almost some wanting to play and just being inquisitive about you. And then
that must be great.
So every time you turn around, they'll shoot off, but they'll keep coming back.
Okay. So I'm not sure, Catherine and Alice, is there what more do we want to put into this, or do you feel as though we've covered the bases?
No, I think this has been a good opportunity for us just to showcase some of the work that we have been doing over the last couple of years. You know, we're really proud of the fact that we've launched our website last week on Tuesday, and I'd say to everyone, go and have a look, find out more. Tell us other things you want to see there that we haven't put there already, because we are open to adding content. Also, like we said, we're going to be launching our app, so look out for that, and please do buy it, and go and just take the time to come down and explore the Marine Reserve for yourself if you have the opportunity. You know, we have all the information here for you, and it is accessible. It's more accessible than you think.
Yeah, and like I said at the start, that we love seeing all the photographs and videos that you guys have taken, whether it's been diving, snorkeling, rock crawling, or just enjoying the coast path. Please do share them with us. We love to see them.
That's great, but I believe that we have a video to lead us out on, which I thought was a great video of going out into the waters on paddle boards.
Oh yeah, so we've been doing quite a lot of paddle boarding recently, and it's great fun.
We lost the sound. That's great, and there were some nice little underwater shots there as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think thank you very much. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you enjoyed listening to this or thought it was informative, then feel free to share it with as many people as you like, and you will be able to access this from the Berwickshire Marine Reserve and the Open Virtual World Facebook pages into the future. So if you want to have another look or point somebody at it, then feel free to do so. Thank you very much for James, Alice and Catherine for participating and leading this, and thank you for Ian for making the technology stuff run.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks, Alan.
Okay, so